Adjutant online. Registry.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first proper and real GGVision Starcraft 2 Colosseum with me, Sebastian Sjöberg, here with our Progamer Gladiator of the Week, mouzHasu, or HasuObs, facing his first adversary on this Monday, Millennium Tarson, playing for the team, the French team, Millennium, here as the yellow Terran in the lowermost starting position of my most favorite map of all time right now, Terminus RE. mouzHasu is, of course, as we all know, the Protoss player who nearly took it all the way in the Team Liquid Star League recently, and only was beaten by Naniva, who was later to succeed to take it to second place, and then mouzHasu faced the Ukrainian menace Terran player Empire Cass and finished up as 4th place in the Team Liquid Star League. Not bad at all, but we'll talk more about why mouzHasu is our first gladiator in a little while. Let me first just tell you a little bit about what this channel and the Starcraft 2 GGVision Colosseum is all about. As you know, I've now been casting for a little bit more than a week. I, of course, have been active on YouTube and Starcraft 2 since many years now, but I've only now begun casting. As we see, mouzHasu only now have begun construction of his first gateway, and Millennium Tarson similarly his barracks. I am new to Starcraft 2 casting, though by no means new to the community, and we see a quick gas from mouzHasu, by the way. But I am very happy to now be casting Starcraft 2, and the first week of commentary I called the Premiere Week. When I got used to the hang of it, got to hear of your feedback, sorted out some issues, and prepared for what would inevitably be the real thing, the GGVision Starcraft 2 Colosseum. And while I take a swig of my casting coffee, splendid, let me tell you what that is. The Colosseum will feature one Progamer Gladiator of the Week. Here we see cybernetic score going down for mouzHasu, and first Marine being constructed for Tarson. No fast expansion shenanigans as of yet. Tech lab going on to that barracks. The Gladiator of the Week will be a Progamer, a renowned Progamer, and he will face one adversary each day from Monday to Friday of different races, matchups and maps, all well-known adversaries, and all these replays will be carefully selected by me based on interesting features and above all awesomeness. And now we see a Reaper coming out of that barrack, so we'll see some early harassment shenanigans from the Polish Terran player Tarson, who's got his scouting SV all up in HasuObs' business. Who's, by the way, going for a quick second assimilator, so something gas-heavy, sentries perhaps, will be coming out of him after this first Stalker. And here today we've chosen Hasu, and he will be with us all the week, and he'll be facing different opponents from Monday to Friday, and we'll really be able to get to know his style, and I'll tell you more about what his style consists of in a while. And on Saturday we will see something special. Maybe that will be a dual commentary, and here we see the Reaper of Tarson lurching its way up to Hasu's base. Maybe we will see a dual commentary with Hasu and or an interview, and if that cannot be arranged, concussive shells going up for Tarson, by the way, very quick, very important to not forget that, Slayer's Boxer. And we'll be doing something special on Saturday that would really celebrate mouzHasu. But these games that I picked, you should not expect that they simply showcase how excellent Hasu is at playing this game. This Reaper, by the way, taking down one worker and now no more. They will simply showcase his skill. There will be wins and losses on different maps in different matchups, and it should be very interesting. You will be able to get to know this player, and hopefully an interview or dual commentary will top it all off on Saturday. So, getting back to this game, mouzHasu has been picked, not only because he has truly taken the Starcraft world with storm, he very nearly won the entire Team Liquid Star League. 4th place is definitely no mean feat. He is also the captain for Team Germany in the EPS, that is the ESL Pro Series, and this game is indeed taken from that cup. The ESL, of course, the European Sports League, European Esports League, is the major organization in Europe for electronic sports in various games, and anything coming out of that league is definitely well worth watching. Tarson, he is a Brood War legend, a renowned Brood War legend. mouzHasu has his background in Warcraft 3, where he played Undead at a fairly professional level, and now he's going ahead with his own expansion, considerably later than his opponent Tarson. Meanwhile, we also see him going for a quick robotics bay and a forge, and Tarson has yet to finish his Stimpack upgrade, and we now see 3 barracks, 2 with reactor going up, no factory as of yet or anything of that sort. And now transferring probes over and going for 2 more gateways, so that'll put him on a 4-gate robo and going for observer first. Now, what signifies mouzHasu's style, apart from him being generally awesome, and it's of course teammate with players like Morrow and several others? Well, one very special thing which comes into play here in this Protoss versus Terran matchup is that he does not like Colossi. The Colossus is boring to play. That is a direct mouzHasu quote. So he prefers High Templars. And I personally like that. Not that I have anything against Colossi, they are awesome. But if you can use High Templars efficiently against the Terran infantry army, well, Sai Stormu, it's just, well, more epic, and it takes more skill, perhaps one could argue. Now also mouzHasu going for armor upgrade before weapons. Maybe that is a defensive measure, we shall see. Now Tarson pushing up, now breaking down the destructible rocks that will lead him into the back entrance of his opponent mouzHasu. We'll see what he can do with this early attack. Looking at the units tab, you see that he's got 5 sentries, so that's quite a lot of force fields. Income wise, mouzHasu is well ahead with 47 to 34. Even with mules, that is way ahead economy wise, and you can see that as well in the mineral intake. Now going for Twilight Council, and it seems like we have a battle coming up. So High Templars is what Hasu prefers. We'll see whether that comes into play. But look at these beautifully placed force fields. He's got so many. He's got those sentries alive for such a long time, and he's managing to take on what is perhaps a superior Terran infantry force. And we'll see if he can just push it back. Beautiful Guardian Shield, but leaving some of the Stalkers exposed. But no, mouzHasu obliterates that first expeditionary force of mouzHasu. And here's a single Marine trying to make life annoying as Hasu tries to take his third. Let me take another swig of casting coffee. Ah, that's the stuff. So, now going for his... where do we have that Twilight Council? Here we have it, the Blink upgrade. Now again, any renowned Protoss player, and here we see Tarson goes for his own third, responding to Hasu economy play. Any renowned Protoss player must possess beautiful Blink Micro. If you guys remember Brood War and how Zerg players use Mutalisks with surgical precision, this is it in StarCraft 2. Blink Micro is the new Mutalisk Micro, and you need to be a surgeon with it, and mouzHasu really is. I am sure we will see that come into play a lot, and that is simply beautiful. It's such an essential part of your gameplay as a Protoss player, whether you can use Blink Micro effectively. And there's more to it than just teleporting away. It's the little things, it's the maneuverability it gives. That's a lot more dynamic than what most players actually can conceive of, can control. So mouzHasu is definitely a leading champion in the way of Blink Micro, and especially if we can combine that with nice High Templar usage. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any Colossi in this game. I haven't checked it out before, I've only had it recommended to me by people I trust, so we shall see. Having a look at the unit tab now. 4 sentries and 8 stalkers, 8 zealots and 1 observer, not too much versus the 9 marauders and 16 marines, but let's have a look at the gateway counts. 3, 5 and soon to be 7, so that is quite a lot of gateways. And of course he's got 3 fully saturated bases by now. That is slightly more than Tarson, but they are fairly equal in economy. And looking at the unit skill tab, we do see that Hasu is well ahead in that regard. And again, at the income, we see that mouzHasu is also leading, particularly in minerals. So now going ahead with further armor upgrades and sell at leg speed. And now we see a bit of blinkage going on there, and Tarson wisely retreats, bravely retreats. And here we see a bit of medivac drops. That will of course always be a feature of Terran play, being able to do these surgical attacks, and it can definitely pin a Protoss player back into his base. Now, perhaps it's not High Templars, but it's definitely Dark Templars. We'll see a Dark Shrine warping in, but will they be able to take out this expansion, I wonder? These zealots do not have speed yet, and this is quite a formidable force, backed up by 2 medivacs. These zealots will go down, but these reinforcements will be able to chase away this force, so very little loss there for Hasuobs, and that drop was definitely stopped in its tracks. But here we see a battle ensuing, and bravely blinking away does those stalkers. Now we see energy for Ghosts going up, as well as armor. He's already got 1 attack upgrade on his forces, and again it seems like he's intent on trying to make something happen here, but unwisely parking them too close. So I would say that Hasuobs definitely has the advantage, but here again he's deploying these troops. They shouldn't be able to inflict too much damage, but the matter is what can happen here. These force fields definitely making it hard for them to escape. Ah, that you see, surgical precision with force fields, completely cutting those poor Terran forces in half and forcing them to retreat. So a defensive Protoss player, and you could definitely say that mouzHasu plays in a defensive way when it suits him. He extends his advantage inch by inch, now taking a 4th expansion, 4th base, 3rd expansion. Here, simply by deflecting whatever Tarson is doing, he can take further and further steps that puts him more and more ahead. Now he's placing pylons and checking out further bases so there are no shenanigans, always a hallmark of expert play. And this is weapons level 2 now being upgraded, as well as armor level 3 already, so definitely a player who goes for his upgrades, and I love seeing that. Again, taking a look at the unit stat, we have 4 Dark Templars, 18 Stalkers, 4 Sentries, 15 Zealots, and no sign of either Colossus or High Templar. So we'll just have to see what he chooses. I don't think he has down either Robotic Support Bay or Templar Archives yet, so and here we see some nice blinkage, able to obliterate that expansion, that command center that was building, but there was a beautiful EMP, 2 of them actually, but there was still energy enough for force fields, and these Dark Templars would definitely be able to cut these Marines in half. He's forced to scan. Then again, this is a very formidable Terran force. They can inflict so much pain on a Protoss army, which isn't exactly squishy, but the DPS of Marines and Marauders, backed up by medivacs, it is fairly gruesome. So you cannot face that head on. Now mouzHasu has a soft siege here on Tarson, who's forced to deal with that before he can really do anything. Meanwhile, mouzHasu is solidifying his advantage. Now he's got 153 supply versus 142 of Tarson, and we'll just have to see what comes out of this next. 5 Dark Templars, 6, not building any more right now, and I'm sure we'll be seeing the late game tech soon take form from mouzHasu, actually building 2 Archons, which is an interesting measure. You usually only see that when High Templars have depleted their energy, and there we again see beautiful blink micro, inflicting a little bit of damage, but above all retreating without taking any of himself. Tarson meanwhile goes for level 2 weapons and armor upgrades, continuing medivac production. And I don't think we have seen anything overly interesting, such as fusion core or anything. No, this is no TLO player. He'll go for the standard approach, which is of course the better approach in most circumstances. And this little Stalker army, if it was caught, it would definitely be obliterated in seconds. But he's using his blink cooldown to the utmost effect. He knows that he can always come in, take a pot shot, then blink away before any damage is inflicted. And it may not hurt Tarson, but it definitely keeps him on his toes, so that he'll have less of momentum to use against mouzHasu. Meanwhile, he's building up his forces, his economy, and where do we see? How do we? Wow! 2 robotics facilities, that will make 3 in total, but I don't think he has put down any support bay yet, so if this means Colossus production, that won't happen yet for a while. Maybe he'll go for just straight out Marauder, but I don't know if that's warranted. Sure, there are many straight out Immortal production, I mean, for mouzHasu to counter these Marauders, but I don't know. That would be definitely unorthodox. And here we see a few Stalkers getting trapped, but it seems like mouzHasu wants to engage. These Archons coming in, getting EMP'd instantly, but these Zealots have leg speed and the Stalkers do blink. Beautiful Guardian shields, but I'd say the Terran army has this. They're forced to retreat or lose it all, sacrificing the Archons to take some further damage and retreating with the Stalker army. That was the first major victory for Tarson, but it definitely was a victory. It seems like the Medivacs got taken out, and meanwhile we see mouzHasu expanding here. When you're attacking, do expand, always, but now suddenly Tarson has the map control, and mouzHasu is in lower supply than him, and now we see him actually constructing the support bay, but there's another battle going on. Dark Templars being warped in, forcing Tarson to scan, but these Stalkers cannot combat the infantry marauder army by themselves. Now we see actually Tarson bringing in SCVs. He wants to free up supply, I suppose, even though he's far from 200 yet. And this expansion may actually go down. Seems like Tarson may have just gotten the upper edge here, because there is nothing as DPS heavy, that's of course damage per second, as a Terran infantry army. 2-2 right now. Taking down this expansion without any challenge really, and the probes are escaping to what is not actually an expansion yet. And here we see a few Stalkers taking down some stragglers, perhaps buying time for this expansion to get saturated and defend it. And here he was hoping to snipe an expansion from Tarson that is not yet there. And now Tarson's got quite a formidable force here of Marines, Marauders, a couple of Ghosts, and Medivacs. So this could definitely turn the tide of battle. mouzHasu has been leading so far, but it all comes down to who wins that late game or late mid game, if you want to be particular, engagement. And Tarson definitely did that. Is anything interesting going on? It does seem like mouzHasu has chosen to forego his own hatred towards the Colossus and go for free Robo Colossus, now researching the thermal lance upgrade. So despite him preferring High Templars with Psystorm and feedback, he will go for the Colossus. And of course that's not a bad idea at all. Over here in Tarson land, we just see a multitude of barracks. That's at least 10, and that would definitely enable him, as long as he's got the money, to hold this infantry force consistently reinforced and up and fighting. He's not even maxed yet, and he could definitely do some medevac drops here in the back. It would be a very good spot to land here. It's got 3 tech buildings and 2 very precious production facilities, but it seems like for now he's content with defending his expansion, and he knows that he's got the momentum right now. Taking a look at the unit tab before the battle commences, we have only 1 Ghost managing to fire 1 EMP, 23 Marines and 24 Marauders versus the 5 Colossus of mouzHasu. And here we do see them going down quite quickly. There are no Vikings in the air, and this is of course what prompted the decision from mouzHasu to go for Colossi anyway. He knew that his opponent would not have an effective counter to his Colossus should he choose to get them, and with Dark Templars just dishing out further damage, he's forced to retreat, losing almost all of his forces, and these Medivacs are in danger. Only 3, now 4 with a fresh 1 in total. Now we have 4 Colossi, 9 Stalkers, 2 Sentries, 5 Dark Templars and a couple of Zealots versus the only 12 Marauders and 11 Marines and 1 Ghost. This is definitely exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Now we see mouzHasu rebuilding his expansion here while laying siege to the fresh one of Tarson. These Colossi, it's just beautiful to see how they cut through SCVs like butter. And Tarson is definitely now on the back end, because he did not have an effective counter to the Colossus of mouzHasu. He did not expect him to go for that, because if so, usually Protoss players try to build up their Colossus count in the early mid-game, and by then you'll know about it. That's when you choose to go for Vikings. But mouzHasu did not do that. He waited until the late game to go for free Robo Colossus production, and that you rarely see. And maybe even Tarson knew that mouzHasu, he never built Colossus, and that's why he had to GG. He was outsmarted by a player who knew that there's a prejudice towards him, that he does not go for Colossus, and he didn't do that at all. He didn't give him reason to think that he would ever go Colossus, and Millennium Tarson just walked straight into that trap, completely foregoing Viking production, and hence he was defenseless when 5 Colossus suddenly, which are 3-3 by the way, appeared on the battlefield, simply cutting through his infantry, who had been so mighty until the even mightier Colossus approached. So this has been Monday, day 1 of the G-Division Starcraft 2 Colosseum, featuring mouzHasu, 4th place winner of the Team Liquid Star League number 3 and captain of Team Germany in the ESL Pro Series. I hope you enjoyed this cast. Tomorrow we'll see mouzHasu face another opponent on a different map, and we'll again see another testament to his skill, whether he wins or loses. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, feel free to consider subscribing it. I'll be back tomorrow. GG for now.
Adjutant online.